The wrench slipped from my sweat-slicked hand and clattered against the oil-stained concrete, echoing like a gunshot in the humid garage air, just as Jake's dad, Mr. Harlan, with his grease-streaked forearms and that quiet intensity that always made my stomach twist, stepped out from behind the bus's undercarriage, his eyes locking onto mine with a look that said he'd been waiting for this exact moment. "I told you to stay away from him." Jake's voice sliced through the tension like a knife. His face twisted in betrayal from the doorway, fists clenched as if he could punch the truth right out of the afternoon heat. And in that split second, as the world narrowed to the three of us, me frozen on my knees, Harlan rising slow like a shadow uncoiling, and Jake charging forward, I realized the engine we'd been fixing wasn't the only thing about to blow wide open. It was one of those endless Indiana summers, the kind where the cicadas scream all day and the air hangs heavy with the promise of thunderstorms that never quite break. I was 17, a lanky kid with a mop of brown hair that never stayed put and a secret that gnawed at me like termites in old wood. Back then, in our small town of Elmwood, where the high school football field was the beating heart and everyone knew your business before you did, I was just Alex, the reliable wide receiver on the team, Jake's best friend since we were knee-high to a grasshopper, trading comic books and dreaming of escaping to the big city lights of Chicago, or maybe even LA. Jake was the quarterback, golden boy with the easy grin and the dad everyone envied. Harlan, the local mechanic who could fix anything, with his hands, from busted transmissions to broken dreams. I'd always noticed Harlan in that way. You notice a storm cloud on the horizon, distant, powerful, something you can't look away from even if it scares you. He was in his early 40s, broad-shouldered from years under hoods and on lifts, with salt and pepper hair cropped short and eyes the color of worn denim. Divorced a decade back, he raised Jake alone in that rambling ranch house on the edge of town, the one with the detached garage that doubled as his workshop. Folks said the split was amicable, but I'd overheard whispers at the diner. Harlan's wife couldn't handle the long hours, the quiet nights. Or maybe it was something else, something unspoken that lingered in the way he moved, deliberate and contained, like he was holding back a flood. That Friday afternoon, Jake had texted me in a panic. "Team bus is fucked. Dad's swamped. Need your hands under the hood by 3? I said yes without thinking, because that's what you do for your best friend. But as I pedaled my beat-up Schwinn down Oak Street, the sun baking my back through my faded Cubs tee, a knot tightened in my gut. It wasn't just the heat. It was the memory of last week's practice, when Harlan had shown up to drop off Jake's forgotten cleats. He'd lingered by the bleachers, watching us run drills, and when our eyes met across the field, he'd nodded. Just a nod. But it felt like a spark jumping a wire. The garage door was rolled halfway up when I arrived, chains rattling in the breeze. Tools lay scattered like forgotten toys. Socket sets, torque wrenches, a half-empty can of W40 sweating beads of condensation. The bus squatted in the center, its yellow paint chipped and faded, a relic from the 80s that had hauled our team to too many Friday night lights. Jake was nowhere in sight, but I heard Harlan's voice from under the chassis, a low rumble muffled by the growl of a jack. "Alex? That you, kid?" I ducked inside, the scent of motor oil and sawdust wrapping around me like an old blanket. "Yeah, Mr. H. Where's Jake?" "Out back, grabbing parts from the shed." He slid out on a creeper, wiping his hands on a rag that was more black than red. Up close, he smelled like clean sweat and metal, and I had to fight the urge to step back or closer. "Appreciate you coming. This beast's got a rod knock that's been plaguing me." Figured 4 hands beat 2. "No problem." I grabbed a pair of gloves from the workbench, my heart thudding a rhythm that had nothing to do with exertion. We got to work, me handing him tools while he pointed out the gremlins. A seized piston here, a warped gasket there. His instructions were clipped, efficient, but every brush of knuckles or shared lean over the engine bay sent a jolt through me. I told myself it was nothing, just hero worship, the kind every kid has for their friend's dad. But deep down, I knew better. I'd spent too many nights staring at the ceiling fan in my room, wondering what it would be like to be seen, really seen, by someone who got it without words. An hour in, Jake burst through the side door, arms loaded with belts and filters, his face flushed from the heat. "Got 'em. Dad, you see the alternator? It's toast." He dumped the pile and clapped me on the shoulder, oblivious to the electric hum in the air. Dude, you're a lifesaver. Coach would have benched us all if we missed that away game. We fell into rhythm then, the three of us a makeshift assembly line. Jake and I bantered about the upcoming rival matchup, how we'd smoke Riverton like last year, while Harlan stayed quiet, his focus laser-sharp. But I caught him watching, not the bus, but us. Me. The way his gaze lingered when I laughed, or when I stretched to tighten a bolt overhead, my shirt riding up just enough. By dusk, we'd made headway. The engine purred tentatively when Harlan fired it up, a throaty rumble that vibrated through the floor. Jake hooped, high-fiving me so hard my palm stung. Pizza to celebrate? My treat. Harlan straightened, tossing the rag over his shoulder. You boys go on. I've got cleanup. Jake hesitated, glancing between us. You sure, Dad? Alex, stay. Help him wrap. I opened my mouth to agree, but Harlan's eyes met mine again, steady and unreadable. Nah, let him breathe. It's been a long day. Jake shrugged and dragged me out, but as we hit the driveway, I glanced back. Harlan stood in the open door, silhouetted against the garage light, hands in his pockets. He didn't wave, just watched until the taillights of Jake's truck swallowed us whole. That night, over greasy slices at Vinnie's, Jake was all fire and strategy, diagramming plays on a napkin with red sauce stains. I nodded along, but my mind was back in that garage, replaying the slide of his hand guiding mine on the wrench, the accidental press of his thigh against my leg under the bus. Jake noticed my distraction halfway through. Earth to Alex. You good? Look like you saw a ghost. Just tired. I lied, forcing a grin. That bus kicked my ass. He bought it or pretended to, and we parted with our usual fist bump. But sleep evaded me that night. In the dark of my bedroom, posters of Jordan and Griffey staring down like judgmental uncles, I let the truth uncoil. I was gay. Had known since I was 14, when a glance at the locker room showers turned my world upside down. But in Elmwood, that was a one-way ticket to whispers, beatings, or worse, disappearing into yourself until you forgot who you were. Jake was my anchor, the one person I'd die for, but telling him? That was a bridge too far, a chasm lined with razor wire. Monday practice was brutal, coach riding us like we were mules. Jake threw lasers, I caught them clean, but my focus splintered every time Harlan's truck rumbled past the field on his way home from the shop. By Friday, the bus was roadworthy, and we crushed Riverton 28-14. The crowd's roar a bomb on my fraying nerves. In the locker room haze of steam and victory slaps, Jake slung an arm around me. Couldn't have done it without you, man. And Dad, he said you're a natural with engines. My cheeks burned. Yeah? He say anything else? Jake laughed, oblivious. Just that. Why? You crushing on my old man or something? The joke landed like a gut punch. I played it off with a shove, but it stuck, burrowing deep. The next weekend, Jake was sidelined with a twisted ankle from the game, and the garage called again. Not Jake this time, Harlan, leaving a voicemail on the house phone that Mom relayed with a raised eyebrow. Tell Alex the bus is acting up again. Could use his steady hands if he's free. I biked over before I could talk myself out of it, the sun dipping low and painting the sky in fire. He was under a Chevy this time, some customer's ride, but he rolled out when I knocked. Knew you'd come. No preamble, just that half smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. We dove in, the work familiar now, but the silence between us thicker, charged. He asked about school, the team, safe topics, but his questions probed deeper, like he was mapping me out. Jake says you're headed to Purdue on that scholarship. Smart move. This town's got teeth. It's not so bad, I said, loosening a spark plug. Got you fixing things, right? He chuckled, low and warm. Flattery'll get you everywhere, kid. The word kid stung, a reminder of the gulf between us. But then he handed me a beer from the mini-fridge, contraband cold and fizzing, and we sat on milk crates as the sky bruised purple, talking real for the first time. About his divorce, not the clean break the town imagined, but a slow unraveling when she found letters he'd hidden. Words to a man in Indianapolis he'd met at a conference. Wasn't cheating, he said, staring at the label peeling under his thumb. Just wondering. She couldn't wrap her head around it. Neither could I back then. My throat tightened. Wondering what? He met my gaze, unflinching. What it means to want something you can't have. The air stilled. I could hear my pulse in my ears, the distant hum of crickets. And now, he set the bottle down, deliberate. Now I know it's not about having. It's about the pull. He didn't touch me, didn't need to. That conversation was the spark, and over the next weeks, it ignited. Jake's ankle healed, but he dragged me to the garage anyway, claiming team bonding, but really so we could tinker while he scrolled TikTok on his phone. Harlan and I stole moments. A shared look over Jake's head, his boot nudging mine under the workbench, a late-night text from a burner number. Doors unlocked if you need air after practice. I'd slip out, heart hammering, and we'd sit on the tailgate of his F-150, backs against the cab, talking stars and secrets until the mosquitoes drove us in. It was innocent at first, or that's what I told myself. No kisses, no confessions. Just the slow burn of understanding. Two souls recognizing their own reflection in the other. Harlan opened up about the letters, how they'd led nowhere but to shame, how he'd buried it all under oil changes and overtime. I shared my fears, the locker room jokes that cut too close, the prayer circles at youth group that felt like interrogations. You're brave, he'd say, voice rough. Braver than me at your age. But bravery's a fragile thing. One night, after a rain-soaked game where we eked out a win, Jake crashed at my place, both of us buzzing on adrenaline and Mountain Dew. He was rambling about college scouts when he paused, eyes narrowing. You've been weird lately, distracted. His dad. Isn't it? The garage shit. I froze, fork midway to my mouth over leftover lasagna. What? No, man. Just busy. Bull. He leaned in, hurt flickering behind the accusation. I see how you look at him, like he's some hero or whatever. He's just my dad, Alex. Flawed as fuck. Don't make him into something he's not. The words landed heavy, but not for the reason he thought. I mumbled an apology, changed the subject to fantasy football. But sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with garage lights and Jake's betrayed stare. The pull grew stronger. Harlan started leaving notes in my glove compartment. Good catch tonight. Folded like origami birds. I'd find them on the drive home, pulse racing, rereading until the ink blurred. One evening, Jake was at a scrimmage, and I showed up uninvited. Harlan was closing up, radio playing Springsteen low, Thunder Road, all escape and open highways. You shouldn't be here, he said, but he didn't mean it. We ended up on the porch swing, creaking in the twilight, shoulders brushing. His hand found mine in the dark, calluses rough against my palm, and for the first time, I didn't pull away. It was just holding, fingers laced, breath sinking, but it felt like coming home. I can't stop thinking about you, I whispered, the admission slipping out like a prayer. He squeezed, thumb tracing my knuckle. Me neither. But this, some minefield, Alex. Jake finds out. He won't. Desperation edged my voice. I swear. We sat like that until the fireflies winked out, the world holding its breath. But secrets have a way of cracking under pressure, like fault lines in Midwest soil waiting for the quake. The next week brought Harvest Festival, Elmwood's annual excuse for funnel cakes, hayrides, and everyone pretending the town's ills could be drowned in cider. Jake dragged me along, arms slung over my shoulders like old times, but the ease was gone, replaced by a watchful edge. Harlan was there too, manning the dunk tank for the VFW booth, his flannel rolled to elbows, laughing as kids nailed the target and sent him splashing. I volunteered for a shift beside him, the two of us side by side in wet jeans and sheepish grins. Jake watched from the Ferris wheel line, his face unreadable in the colored lights. Having fun? He called later, tossing me a candy apple that I caught one-handed. Tons? I lied, the stickiness clinging to my fingers like guilt. That night, under the bonfire's glow, Harlan found me by the corn maze entrance, away from the crowd. You look like you're carrying the world, he murmured, handing me a thermos of coffee. Black, just how I liked it. Feels like it. I sipped, the warmth spreading. Jake's onto something. Not us, but me, I think. His jaw tightened. We'll be careful. Always are. But careful slipped when Jake cornered me behind the hay bales the next day, his breath fogging in the crisp fall air. What's going on with you and Dad? Don't bullshit me, Alex. I saw you last night, whispering like you're plotting a heist. My stomach plummeted. It's nothing, just talking shop. You know, engines and... Save it. His voice cracked, a rare vulnerability breaking through the quarterback armor. He's been different too. Happier, like he's got a secret. And you're always there, orbiting like a damn moon. If it's what I think. The words hung, unspoken but screaming. Gay. Him. I could deny it, laugh it off, preserve the fragile peace. But the lie tasted like ash. Jake, listen. No. He stepped back, eyes wide with a hurt that mirrored my own fears. You're my brother, man. Don't make this weird. Don't make me the idiot. He walked away, leaving me in the shadow of the stalks, the festival's laughter mocking my isolation. I didn't see Harlan again that night, too risky, but his text came at midnight. You okay? No, I replied. But yeah. Fall deepened, leaves turning the town into a postcard of reds and golds. But the chill seeped into everything. Practice grew tense. Jake's throws were sharper, my routes hesitant. We'd huddle post-drill, bumping fists like always, but the silence stretched, heavy with unsaid accusations. Harlan kept his distance, texts turning cryptic. Rain check on that oil change? I ached for the garage, for the simplicity of wrenches and wiring, but showing up felt like tempting fate. Then came the Scouts weekend, Purdue and IU reps descending on our field like vultures in khakis. Jake was electric, slinging passes that split defenders like Moses the Red Sea. I hauled in a 60-yard bomb for the game's closer, the crowd erupting as I spiked the ball and pointed to him in the end zone. Victory tasted sweet, but hollow. In the handshake line, his grip lingered too long, eyes searching mine for absolution. We celebrated at the local bar, underage but overlooked in the chaos. Beers snuck under the table, toasts to futures bright as stadium lights. Harlan showed up late, clapping Jake on the back with paternal pride. Proud of you, son. Then, quieter to me. That catch? Poetry. Jake overheard, his smile faltering. By closing time, he was 3 sheets to the wind, slurring arm in arm with me down Main Street. You're not, right? Like, into guys. The question blindsided me, street lamps haloing his flushed face. Cars whooshed past, headlights slicing the dark. Jake. Because if you are, that's cool. Whatever. But not him. Anyone but him. His voice broke, a sob disguised as a cough. He's all I got, Alex. Don't take that. I pulled him into a hug, the kind we'd shared after Pee-wee losses, but this one ached with finality. I won't. Promise. He passed out in my truck's cab, head lolling against the window. I drove slow, the radio murmuring Alanis Morissette about jagged little pills. Dropping him at the ranch, I killed the engine and sat, staring at the porch light flickering like a distress signal. Harlan appeared in the doorway, arms crossed, waiting. You tell him? His whisper cut the night. Not everything. I climbed out, gravel crunching under my sneakers. But close. He nodded, jaw set. Get some sleep, Alex. We'll figure it. But figuring it meant more stolen hours. Me sneaking over after midnight shifts at the gas station. Him waiting with the hood up on some phantom repair. We'd work in silence, bodies attuned, until the pull won and we'd lean against the bus. Foreheads touching, breaths mingling in the cool barn air. The first kiss happened like that. Tentative, tasting of coffee and regret, his beard rasping soft against my skin. It was brief, a brush of lips that left us both shaken, pulling back with murmured apologies. Don't, I said, hand on his chest, feeling the thunder of his heart. Don't stop. We didn't, not that night. It escalated slow. hands exploring under shirts, the map of scars and freckles, whispers of you're beautiful in the dark. No rush, no frenzy, just the tender unraveling of guards long held. Harlan was gentle, reverent, like I was an engine he'd dismantle with care, piecing it back purer. In those moments, the world shrank to us, Elmwood's judgments distant as another county. But Jake's suspicion festered. He'd text mid-conversation, "Where you at?" or show up unannounced at the garage, finding us elbow-deep in a carburetor, faces flushed from more than exertion. "Family meeting," he'd announce, voice tight, dragging Harlan inside for talks I wasn't privy to. I'd hear raised voices through the walls, "What's with you two?" Followed by Harlan's calm deflection, "Just helping the kid, son. Let it go." Winter crept in, snow dusting the fields like powdered sugar on a stale donut. Holiday lights strung Elmwood streets, but cheer felt forced. Jake and I patched our rift with forced hangouts. Video games in my basement, burgers at the drive-in, laughter brittle as thin ice. Underneath, the fracture widened. He'd grill me about college plans, about girls from the pep squad. "You and Sarah? She's got that vibe." And I'd deflect with jokes, the lie a stone in my throat. Christmas Eve, the team bus, our old beast, threw a rod on the way back from a bowl game in Ohio. Stranded in a blizzard-ravaged rest stop outside Toledo, Coach called Harlan in a frenzy. He drove through the night, chains rattling on his tires, arriving at dawn with tools and thermos of sludge-thick Joe. Jake and I were huddled in the diner's booth, frost riming the windows, when he burst in, snow melting off his boots. "Let's get you boys home." His eyes found mine, a flicker of warmth amid the exhaustion. The repair took hours, all of us layered in parkas, fingers numb on frozen bolts. Jake directed traffic on the interstate shoulder, flares glowing like fallen stars. Harlan and I crawled under the chassis, our usual dance amplified by the howling wind. "Steady," he murmured, breath hot on my ear as I torqued the new rod. Our gloves brushed, a spark in the cold. By noon, the engine coughed to life, and we caravanned back, the bus limping behind Harlan's truck. Jake crashed in the passenger seat, snoring through the wiper's swish. I rode with Harlan, the cab a cocoon of heater hum and unspoken need. "Thank you," I said, hand on his knee over the gearshift. He covered it with his own. "For you, anything." That night, after family dinners and carols, I slipped out to the garage. He was there, tinkering with a snowblower, the space lit by a single hanging bulb. We came together like magnets, coats shed in a heap, kisses deepening with the urgency of time running short. His hands mapped my back, pulling me close. Mine tangled in his hair, the world dissolving to the press of bodies, the sigh of surrender. It was more than before, intimate, unhurried, but still chaste, a dance of discovery without crossing lines we couldn't uncross. Afterward, wrapped in a wool blanket on the concrete, his head on my chest, he whispered, "This scares me. For you. For us." "Me too," I admitted. "But it's real." New Year's brought resolutions unspoken. Jake confronted me on a sledding hill, the two of us tumbling down in a spray of powder, breathless and pink-cheeked. "I know, Alex." He sat up, snowball melting in his glove. "About you, and I get it why you'd look to him. But he's straight, man. Or was. Whatever. Just be careful. I can't lose either of you." The confession cracked me open. "You knew. Suspected." He punched my arm, light but pointed. "Best friends, remember? But if he hurts you, he won't." Spring training loomed, scholarships dangling like carrots. Purdue locked in my offer, full ride, but the thought of leaving him, twisted like a knife. Harlan felt it too. Our moments grew desperate, laced with goodbyes we weren't ready to say. One April evening, rain lashing the tin roof, Jake walked in on us mid-embrace. Arms around waists, foreheads pressed, the blanket from Christmas draped over our legs. The door banged open, wind howling in his wake. "What the fuck?" Time fractured. Harlan jumped back, face ashen. I scrambled up, words tumbling. Jake, wait! You! His eyes blazed, darting between us. With my dad? How long, Alex? How long have you been lying? It's not. Harlan started, voice steady. Son, let me explain. No! Jake's shout echoed, fists balled. You think I didn't see the signs? The looks, the late nights? You're supposed to be the adult, protecting me, not this. Betrayal poured from him like venom. Years of loyalty shattered in a heartbeat. He stormed out, truck tires spinning mud as he peeled away. Harlan sank onto the creeper, head in hands. Jesus, I knew it'd end like this. I knelt beside him, trembling. We can fix it. Talk to him. But the damage was seismic. Jake ghosted me. Texts unread, calls to voicemail, practices where he'd nod curtly and drill elsewhere. Whispers spread through the team like wildfire. Harlan's got a side piece. No, wait, it's the kid. Small-town math added up fast, and soon it was the gay thing. Slurs scrawled on my locker, shoulders checked in the halls. Harlan tried bridging the gap, family dinners turning to shouting matches. He's a good kid, Jake. This isn't about you. Everything's about me. Jake roared back one night, plate shattering against the wall. You chose him over Mom, over us. The lie burned. Harlan had chosen survival, not abandonment. But truth drowned in the flood. I stayed away, burying in books and runs the scholarship my lifeline out. But leaving meant abandoning them both. The two men who'd cracked my world open. Climax hit on graduation eve. The ceremony was a blur of caps and gowns. Families cheering under string lights in the gym. Jake walked before me, his name echoing. I followed, diploma heavy as lead. After, in the parking lot chaos, he found me by the bus, our bus polished for the occasion. Alex. His voice was raw, eyes red-rimmed. I looked through Dad's phone. The texts. Saw enough. My heart stopped. Jake. I'm sorry. The words choked out. For how I reacted. For making it about me. You. And he's, whatever he is. But this is poison. For all of us. He handed me a keychain, our old one from freshman year, 2 interlocking footballs. Take care of yourself in Indiana. Don't come back broken. He walked away, silhouette fading into the crowd. I drove to the garage. Rain starting again, wipers slashing tears from the windshield. Harlan was packing tools, the space gutted like a wound. He's leaving, he said flatly, spotting me. Packed a bag for his mom's in Florida. Says he needs space. The betrayal wasn't Jake's alone. It was the fracture we'd wrought, innocent love twisting into collateral pain. We clung that night, sobs mingling with kisses, the future a storm on the radar. Summer arrived like a fever dream, Elmwood sweltering under a sun that bleached the sky bone white. Graduation's echo faded, but the rift lingered, a scar tissue of silence. Jake's truck vanished from the driveway days after. A U-Haul hitched behind, bound for his mom's condo in Tampa. He left no note, just a voicemail for Harlan. Tell Alex I'm sorry. And Dad? Figure your shit out. That played on loop in my head like a bad country ballad. Harlan threw himself into work, the garage a fortress of clanging metal and fluorescent buzz. I showed up daily, not for repairs but for him. The way he'd pause mid-weld, remove his mask, and pull me into the office for stolen minutes, door locked, blinds drawn. We'd talk strategy, how to reach Jake, what words might mend the breach. But talk turned to touch, urgency born of loss, our bodies a language when words failed. Still, we held the line, no further than before, respect a tether in the chaos. You think he'll forgive? I asked one afternoon, head on his lap as he stroked my hair, the fan whirring overhead. Harlan's sigh ruffled the strands. Time's the only mechanic for this mess. But yeah, he's got my blood stubborn, but soft underneath. I wanted to believe it. Nights alone in my room, posters peeled and boxes stacked for Purdue. I'd scroll Jake's empty Insta, his last post a beach sunset from Florida, captionless. Texts I'd send. Miss you, man. Call. Bounced into the void. The town buzzed with gossip, Harlan's boys gone queer? No, it's the dad. Mom shot me worried glances over breakfast. Her nurse's intuition sharp. You okay, honey? You've been distant. Just senioritis hangover. I'd quip, kissing her cheek, but the weight pressed, humanistic ache of loving across lines. Family, friendship, self. Mid-July, a postcard arrived. Palm trees and Jake's scrawl. Tampa's humid as balls, but the waves help. Dad's a dick, but you're not. Right back. I did pages of apologies and anecdotes, mailed with a mixtape of our old favorites. Springsteen, mostly. Harlan read it first, eyes misting. Good bones, kid. Real good. His own outreach faltered. Calls to Jake went to voicemail, voicemails deleted unheard. Give him space? I'd urge, but loneliness carved Harlan hollow. Eyes shadowed, laugh rarer than a dry spell. We'd drive aimless after closes, windows down. FM radio crooning Garth Brooks about friends in low places. One night, parked by the quarry lake, moon silvering the water, he broke. I never wanted this for him. For us. His voice cracked, bottle of bourbon between us half gone. Thought I could keep it locked down forever. But you make me want more. A life, not just surviving. I took the bottle, swig small and burning. Then let's build it. After I go, Chicago's only 4 hours. Weekends, holidays. He pulled me across the bench seat, kiss fierce with bourbon tang. Promise. Swear. Purdue orientation hit like a freight train. Dorms reeking of fresh paint and Axe body spray, syllabi thick as phone books. I threw myself in chem labs, lit seminars, pickup games on the intramural fields, but Elmwood pulled like gravity. Weekends, I'd hitchhike home, thumb out on I-65, landing in Harlan's arms by midnight. The garage became our haven, bus long fixed but symbolic now, a yellow sentinel to our secret. Fall leaves turned again, game days a ritual. I'd call Jake pre-kickoff, leaving cheers for his community college team down south. Silence answered, but I persisted, postcards stacking like bricks in a wall we'd climb someday. Thanksgiving loomed, Mom's turkey a beacon. Harlan and I planned a quiet one. Just us, pie from the diner, football on the tube. But Jake texted the night before, coming home. Airport pickup? Don't tell Dad yet. My heart seized. I relayed to Harlan over coffee, his face paling. This it? The reckoning? Or reconciliation? Optimism thin as broth. He picked Jake up at Indy, me riding shotgun, nerves electric. The airport bustle swallowed us. But there he was, tanner, leaner, duffel slung over shoulder. His eyes flicked from Harlan to me, guarded. Hey! The drive was autopsy tense, small talk about flights and classes a scalpel picking at scabs. At the ranch, Jake dropped his bag in the foyer. Talk! Harlan nodded, leading to the kitchen. I hovered in the hall, eavesdropping like a thief. Voices rose. Jake's accusation sharp, you lied to me. Both of you. Harlan's defense measured, never meant to hurt. Mine, when called, tumbled out. I love him, Jake. But I love you too. Always will. Silence stretched. Then Jake's laugh bitter, broken. Love. Fuck that. You wrecked everything. He didn't leave that night, crashing in his old room. Thanksgiving dawn strained. Turkey carved with precision, passes like hot potatoes. But as pie plates cleared, Jake spoke. Saw a therapist down there. Made me unpack it, the anger. It's not just you two. It's Mom leaving, Dad shutting down. Me feeling like the leftover. Harlan's fork stilled. Son. I'm trying. Jake met my eyes. But this? You and Alex? It's weird. Gross even. But if it makes you happy, Dad, maybe I can live with it. Eventually. The olive branch bent, not broke. We hugged. Awkward, bone-crushing, and he flew back Monday, promising calls. It wasn't forgiveness full, but a start, humanistic in its messiness. People as puzzles, pieces jagged but fitting. Winter break brought snow, Purdue a ghost town. I stayed at the ranch, officially helping with inventory. Unofficially tangled in sheets with Harlan. The bed a world of whispers and warmth. Jake Skyped New Year's, 3 faces on screen, toasting with solo cups. To not fucking up more, he deadpanned. Laughter bubbled, real for the first time in months. Spring semester blurred. Exams, crushes unacted on dorm mates, but Harlan anchored me. Letters now, old school, his handwriting slanted and sure. Miss your laugh in the quiet. I'd reply from the library, pages of dreams. Grad school, maybe, or road-tripping Route 66 post-diploma. Betrayal's shadow lingered, though. Town tongues wagged. That Harlan boy's kid knows? And Jake bore brunt at his campus, rumors chasing him south. One night, drunk dial from a bar. They outed me, Alex. Because of you. Because of us. Guilt knife deep. I'm sorry. God, Jake. Not your fault. Slur heavy. Just tired of hiding. Maybe I'll stop. He did, in fits. A rainbow pin on his backpack, defying stares. Harlan beamed at the photo he sent, pride swelling. My boy's tougher than I ever was. Climax brewed slow, erupting Memorial Day weekend. Purdue's last game, a charity match against alums, drew a crowd, including Jake, surprise visit announced via text, scoring tickets. Be there. Harlan drove up, the 3 of us tailgating in the lot, burgers sizzling on a portable grill. Jake clapped my back post-touchdown, grin wide. Knew you'd kill it. Post-game, beers in hand, we wandered campus paths, fireflies dancing like confetti. Jake pulled us aside by the bell tower. Therapy homework. Say the hard shit. Dad. Alex, I forgive you. Not all the way, but enough. This family's fucked, but it's mine. Tears stung. Harlan enveloped him in a bear hug, me joining. The 3 of us a knot unbreakable. Betrayal's poison leached out, leaving space for growth. But stories don't end neat. Life's a highway with detours. That summer, Harlan got an offer. Foreman at a shop in Fort Wayne. Bigger pay, fresh start. Closer to you, he said, over ice cream at the parlor. And Jake's talking transfer north. Excitement warred with ache. Leaving Elmwood, the garage's ghosts. We sold the bus to a collector, a ceremonial farewell. Keys handed under the hood, memories etched in every dent. Fall found us resettled. Me back at Purdue, Harlan commuting, Jake enrolling at IPFW, weekends converging in Fort Wayne diners. Romance deepened, Harlan and I, dates at hole-in-the-wall blues bars, hands clasped under tables. Jake tagged along sometimes, third wheel but welcome, his own stories emerging. A crush on a barista, tentative steps into his truth. One crisp October eve, leaves crunching underfoot. We 3 hiked Eagle Creek, backpacks heavy with sandwiches. At the overlook, city sprawl glittering below, Jake raised a toast with water bottles. To plans gone sideways, and the ones that stick. Harlan slung arms around us both. To family, the kind we choose. I leaned into them, wind whispering promises. Betrayal had scarred, but scars toughen, remind. In America's heartland sprawl, from Indiana garages to urban edges, we'd forged something human. Flawed, fierce, enduring. Love in all its forms, the ultimate repair. No, that wasn't the end, not by a long shot. Life's got a way of looping back, testing the welds you thought held. Junior year at Purdue hit like a Category 5. Advanced circuits class kicking my ass, a part-time gig at the campus auto shop to keep the lights on, and Harlan's new role demanding 60-hour weeks. We'd text through the grind. Miss your grease under my nails. But dates dwindled to hurried coffees, kisses snatched in parking lots. Jake thrived at IPFW, majoring in sports management, his texts peppered with emojis and invites. Game night? Bring the old man. He dated a guy briefly, Ethan, a lacrosse player with a megawatt smile. But it fizzled, leaving him wry. Dating's like drafting rookies, half the picks bust. We laughed over it at our monthly brunches. The 3 of us a unit now, banter flowing easy as Midwestern rivers. But undercurrents stirred. Harlan grew distant, not cold but preoccupied. Phone buzzing late with work calls. Big projects got us chasing deadlines, he'd say, rubbing temples. I chalked it to stress, but doubt crept. Was it us? The age gap? 25 years a chasm in stolen glances from friends? Or deeper, the old letters, that phantom from his past? Thanksgiving that year we hosted at the ranch. Still there's unpacked boxes lingering like regrets. Mom came up from Elmwood, eyeing Harlan with cautious warmth. Jake brought Ethan, the breakup fresh but polite. Turkey smoked on the deck. Football blared. But Harlan excused early headache. I found him in the garage later, staring at the empty bay where the bus once squatted. "Talk to me?" I said, sliding onto a stool. He leaned against the workbench, arms crossed. "Got a call today. From Gary." The name landed like a dropped socket, clanging, echoing. Gary. The man from the letters, the conference spark that unraveled his marriage. What did he want? Closure, he says. Lives in Seattle now, married to a woman, kids. Saw my name in a trade mag. Thought, why not reach out? Harlan's laugh was hollow. Like it's that simple. Jealousy flared, hot and irrational. And you? What do you want? His eyes searched mine, stormy. You, Alex. Always. But what if this is a phase for you? Youth's fire burns bright then. Fuck that. I stood, closing the gap. I'm in. All in. We kissed fierce, tools clattering to the floor. But the seed was planted, trust, fragile as a timing belt. Winter break brought Snowmageddon. Purdue shuttered early. I hunkered at the ranch, shoveling driveways and binging HBO with Jake, who crashed on the couch between classes. Harlan's mood swung. Tender one night, withdrawn the next. Gary's emails piled. Polite, nostalgic, and Harlan shared them. A gesture of transparency that felt like tightrope walking. One blizzard night, power out, candles flickering. Jake snowed in with us, we played cards by lantern light. Laughter peaked when Jake dealt a royal flush, crowing, "Suckers!" But as embers died, he turned serious. "Dad, those emails? From the guy." Harlan stiffened, cards fanning. "How'd you?" Saw the open tab. "Don't freak." Jake shrugged, vulnerability peaking. "Just don't let ghosts rewrite history. You've got good here." His gaze flicked to me, inclusive. Harlan nodded, throat working. "Appreciate it, son." The talk lingered, catalyst. Harlan called Gary next day, storm static crackling the line, thanking him for the past, closing the door firm. "No what-ifs," he told me after, hanging up. "Only forward." Spring bloomed tentative, cherry blossoms dusting Fort Wayne like confetti. My shop job led to an internship at a dealership, hands dirty in ways that echoed the garage. Harlan surprised me with a weekend in Chicago. Date night proper, train tickets tucked in my toolbox. We wandered Millennium Park, bean sculpture gleaming, hands brushing in crowds. That night, in a shoebox hotel room overlooking the lake, we crossed the line we'd towed for years. Not rushed, but inevitable, bodies joining with the reverence of long-denied rain. It was beautiful, vulnerable, sealing us deeper. But betrayal's echo resounds. Summer sweltered, Jake interning at a sports agency in Indy, crashing with us Fridays. One such night, post-barbecue, he swiped Harlan's phone for music. Innocent, buzzed and froze. "What the hell, Dad?" The screen glowed. A flirty text from a coworker. "Miss our chats. Lunch soon?" Context innocuous. Project follow-up. But Jake's face twisted, old wounds ripping. "Another one? After Gary?" Harlan snatched it back. "It's nothing. Work." "Bullshit." Jake's voice rose, beer bottle slamming. "You're doing it again, hiding, flirting, whatever. Alex deserves better." I stepped in, palms up. "Jake, easy." "No." He whirled on me. "You think I don't see? The late nights at the shop? The way you look guilty after? I'm not blind." The accusation hung, a guillotine. Harlan's face drained. "Son, that's not. Save it." Jake grabbed his keys. "Call me when you're honest. For real this time." Tires squealed into the dusk, taillights winking accusation. Silence crashed, heavier than thunder. Harlan sank to the porch step, head bowed. "He's right. I flirted, stupid, harmless. Boost to the ego after the Gary shit. But it's you, Alex. Only. Hurt bloomed. Sharp. Then why hide it? Why let him think? Because I'm scared. Admission raw. Of losing him again. Of this blowing up for good. We talked till stars wheeled. Confessions peeling layers. His fear of inadequacy. My insecurity in the shadow of his history. Human frailty laid bare. No villains, just men muddling through. Reaching Jake took weeks. Texts rebuffed. Calls screened. I drove to Indy alone, cornering him at a coffee shop near his internship. He looked wrecked, shadows under eyes. What, Alex? Come to defend him? No. To say you're right. I slid into the booth. We fucked up. All of us. But running? That's on you. He stirred sugar endlessly. It hurts. Seeing him slip back. Like mom all over. It's not. Firm. He's changed. We're changed. But trust's earned. Not owed. Tears welled. I want to believe. Then try. Covered his hand. For us. He nodded. Tentative. Group call that night. Awkward. Tear-streaked. Harlan apologizing unreserved. No more secrets. Phones an open book. Jake accepted, grudging, prove it. Fall semester peaked with midterms. But mending anchored me. Jake visited more, Ethan a ghost but new sparks flickering. A classmate named Riley. Shy texts shared over pizza. Harlan and I set boundaries. Weekly check-ins, no solo lunches with tempting colleagues. Romance reignited. Picnics by the Wabash. Slow dances in the kitchen to Coltrane on vinyl. Thanksgiving redux. Full table, Riley included. Tentative but warm. Jake raised a glass mid-meal. To do-overs. And not being dicks. Laughter rippled. Cathartic. But climax loomed larger. Life's plot twists unrelenting. Senior year dawned crisp. Thesis looming like Everest. Harlan's shop hit a boom. EV conversions all the rage. His hours ballooning. Distance frayed us. Arguments over missed calls. My stress snapping short. You're pulling away. I'd accuse. Phone pressed to ear in the dorm. Work? Alex. It's work. Wearied. One February night. Storm raging. I drove down unannounced. Needing solid ground. The ranch glowed. But Jake's car sat in the drive. Surprise visit. Laughter spilled from the kitchen. I paused at the window, heart lifting. Then it shattered. Harlan and Jake, arms around each other, not paternal, but intimate? No. Jake consoling, Harlan's head on his shoulder, sobs racking. I can't lose him too, son. Not like your mom. You're not. Jake's voice steady. But you gotta fight. For Alex. For this. Relief flooded. Then guilt. Eavesdropping on raw truth. I slipped away, but not before Harlan spotted the truck's gleam. Text followed. Come back. Please. Inside, explanations tumbled. Harlan's confession to Jake about the coworker flirt. The guilt eating him. Told him everything. No more hiding. Jake nodded at me. We're good, man. Really. The storm passed, but tension lingered. A reminder. Bonds strain, but don't snap if tended. Graduation neared. Capstone project, a hybrid engine prototype blending Harlan's tweaks with my code. He beamed at the defense, front row with Jake and Mom. Diploma in hand, I scanned the crowd. His wink, Jake's whoop. A chorus of yes. Post-ceremony, we four dined at a steakhouse, futures toasted. My grad school offer at MIT. Wait, MIT? The envelope had come weeks prior. Boston's pull irresistible. A dream deferred no more. I'd held it, fearing the miles. Announcement dropped like a bomb. Harlan's fork paused. Boston. Jake whistled. Big leagues. Excitement warred with dread. Drive to the ranch was quiet. Jake mercifully crashing at a motel. In bed, Harlan held me close. Proud as hell. But 3 hours to 3,000 miles. We'll make it work. Kiss soft. Flights, visits. It's us. He nodded, but sleep evaded. Fears whispering. Summer-packed boxes, job offers rolling me at a Boston startup, green energy focus. Jake landed an agency gig in Chicago, bridging our coasts. Farewell party at the ranch. Bonfire crackling, locals toasting despite tongues. Harlan gifted a toolbox engraved for the fixer in you, eyes shining. Jake pulled me aside by the flames. Scared. Terrified. Admission honest. He hugged fierce. You'll crush it. And Dad? He'll wait. We both will. Labor Day, airport goodbye. Harlan's grip bruising. Kiss hidden in embrace. Love you, kid. Love you more. Boarding pass trembled. Boston hit whirlwind. T-rides rattling. Charles River jogs. Apartment with harbor view. Texts bridged. First snow yet? Harlan. Not without you. Jake mediated. Group chats alive with memes. Fall deepened. Distance a dull ache. Visits punctuated. Thanksgiving in Boston. Snow blanketing the common. Harlan's wonder childlike. Christmas in Fort Wayne. Tree strung with our ornaments. Bus-shaped. Handmade. But cracks spidered. Harlan's text slowed. Excuses piling. Shops slammed. Jake noticed. Dad okay? Seems off. Calls connected. But voices strained. Silences stretching. Spring break, I flew home unannounced. Surprise redux. Ranch dark. Harlan's truck absent. Jake answered his door in Chicago. Brow furrowed. He's seeing someone. The word gutted. Who? Doesn't say. Just that it's casual. To fill the time. Betrayal, second verse, same as the first, but sharper for the miles. I confronted via video, face pixelated in my dorm. Is it true? Harlan's gaze dropped. Yeah. Local guy, bar pickup. One night. Stupid. 1. Voice steal. 2. I'm sorry, Alex. The empty bed. It echoes. Pain lanced. So I'm what? A placeholder till boredom hits. No. Desperate. You're everything. This was weakness. Jake mediated again, call tripling. Dad, you're an idiot. Alex, he's miserable without you. Words flew. Accusations, tears, truths bared. Harlan's vulnerability cracked. Fear of abandonment. The age gap's toll. Loneliness a beast gnawing. I don't want to hold you back. Boston's your sky. You're not. Firm. But lies are. Resolution forged. Therapy for him, transparency packed. The someone ended clean, no encores. Summer internship in Boston kept me east, but July 4th weekend, I drove 20 hours straight to Fort Wayne. Harlan waited on the porch, older in the dawn light, but eyes alight. We rebuilt slow. Dates like freshmen, hands held in daylight now, no hiding. Jake officiated a redo barbecue, Riley by his side official. To not being morons anymore. Laughter healed. Grad school loomed. MIT slabs a siren. Farewell loomed larger. August Eve, Quarry Lake again, Harlan and I on the tailgate. Marry me? He asked. Ring simple. Silver band etched with circuits. Tears. Yes. Jake hooped from the phone. Liv from Chicago. Fall found me in Cambridge. Ring hidden under glove for now, discretion's gift. Visits monthly. Harlan's truck a fixture at Logan. Jake's wedding invite arrived spring, him and Riley, Chicago courthouse, us best men. Life's drama ebbed, romance's rhythm steady, betrayal's lessons etched. Love's not flawless, but fought for, it's humanistic gold, flawed folks forging forever, one wrench turn at a time. Years folded like accordions, time compressing triumphs and trials into a montage of Midwestern grit and coastal hustle. MIT's masters flew, quantum batteries, patents pending, my name in IEEE journals. Harlan's shop expanded, EV fleet charging Elmwood's grid, his face on local news. Mechanic turns green pioneer. Jake climbed agency ranks, Riley his rock, their Chicago loft a haven for holidays. We married quiet, Vegas chapel, Elvis officiating, Jake as witness cracking jokes. Rings exchanged under neon, vows whispered. Through every breakdown, every breakthrough. Honeymoon road trip. Route 66 West, diners and deserts. Harlan's hand in mine over the dash. Boston settled us. Condo in Somerville, his commute a bear but worth it. Weeknights, he'd cook, chili bubbling, Springsteen low while I graded papers, our rhythm domestic poetry. Weekends, hikes in the Berkshires, leaves turning eternal. But conflict simmers eternal too. My PhD beckons Stanford, Silicon Valley's pull magnetic. California, Harlan echoed over wine, face shadowed. That's cross-country. Opportunity, I countered. For us, better labs, your shop could franchise west. He nodded, but doubt lingered. Jake advised neutral, talk it out. Don't uproot without roots. Decision dragged. Summer visits to Cali scouting. Palo Alto sun, venture talks dizzying. Harlan tagged one, eyes wide at the sprawl. Feels like another planet. Back east, argument erupted, rare, raw. You're chasing dreams, Alex. What about ours? Yours too. Voice rising. This could be huge. For you, the business. But home's here. Quiet hurt. Indiana heart, you know? Stalemate. Jake flew in mediator supreme. Over beers at our bar, he dissected. Dad, change scares you. Fair after mom. Alex, he's not running. He's building. Truth pierced. We compromised. Stanford deferred a year, me consulting remote, Harlan scouting franchises. Tension eased. Love's glue resilient. Betrayal revisited autumn. Sly. A conference in Seattle, irony thick. Reunited me with Gary, now divorced, widowed by choices. Drinks turned deep. Harlan's lucky, he said, eyes lingering. You both. Flirtation veiled, but I shut it down, happily hitched. Fleeing to my room, guilt gnawing. Called Harlan immediate. Ran into Gary, told him off. Silence. Then, you okay? More than. Love you. Trust rebuilt, brick by brick. Winter brought Jake's wedding, courthouse chic. Rooftop reception overlooking the loop. Riley in tux, beaming. Jake nervous giddy. Harlan and I stood proud. Toasts laced with inside jokes. To brothers, blood and chosen. Spring, Stanford accepted. Delayed start. Us relocating hybrid. Me west, weekends east via red ice. Painful but plotted. Garage sale at the ranch. Tools to upstarts. Bus memory boxed for Jake's attic. Move day, U-Haul loaded. Elmwood fading in the rear view. Harlan drove, hand on my thigh. Adventure. Damn right. Palo Alto dazzled. Campus groves, startup buzz. My lab a hive of innovation. Harlan's franchise bloomed, Harlan's hybrids. Bay Area. Commute from Oakland a bridge cross daily. Jake visited quarterly, Riley in tow. Barbecues in our backyard with views of fog-rolled hills. Climax crested year 2. Lab breakthrough. Solid-state battery slashing EV costs. Headlines national. Harlan's shops boomed, contracts pouring. But success spotlit cracks. My travel exploded, conferences, TEDx nods, Harlan's night solo. One Tokyo trip, jet-lagged call. Miss you. Bed's cold. Home soon, but soon stretched, resentment simmering. Return sparked fight. You're gone more than here. Building our future. Round 2 therapy via Zoom, counselor sharp, balance or burnout. We recalibrated. Dedicated nights, no work zones. Humanism shown in smalls. Harlan's surprise weekend in Tokyo, cherry blossoms, sushi hand-fed. My return gift, custom wrench set, engraved our engine. Jake's call midsummer, pregnant surrogate, adopting. Uncle duties. Joy exploded. We flew Chicago, ultrasound grainy but miraculous. Family expands. Betrayal's final whisper. Old Elmwood contact. Gossip revived. Harlan's boys hitched to a prof. Queer power couple. Jake fielded, laughing it off. Let him talk. We're winning. PhD defense dawned. Auditorium packed. Harlan front row. Jake beaming via stream. Dissertation nailed. Doctorate donned. Celebration banquet where I proposed expansion. Franchise in Tokyo? Your call. He grinned. Why not? Postgrad, tenure track secured. Us rooted in Cali but winged wide. Jake's twins arrived. Boy and girl. Riley's eyes, his grin. Baptism in a park, water sparkling. Decade mark. Anniversary Vegas redux, Elvis crooning. Jake best man again, twins toddling. Toast. To detours that deliver. Life's drama? Ongoing script. Conflicts minor, climaxes conquered. Romance? Evergreen, deepened by trials. Human? Utterly. Flawed hearts mending. Love's layered. A gay American odyssey from garage sparks to global gears. In quiet moments, Harlan's hand in mine, I reflect. That bus, that hook, led here. No regrets, only roads ahead, together.